Good afternoon, everyone. I thought that I would take the time to go back and show you how to do simple, short, little tutorials that we kind of take for granted every day. So this one is going to be how to fluff a bow. And the reason why this is critical is because sometimes during shipping, boxes are kind of tossed willy-nilly. And sometimes, especially if you're having a fairly full wreath and it may have gotten compressed to the point. So we want to make sure that your bow looks as good as it did when it got packaged as when it arrives. Or let's say, for example, you are, hold on a second, I'm trying to connect my Facebook because when we lost power yesterday, I turned everything off. So give me just 1 second to reconnect everything. Should pop up here in a second. Hi Teresa, I am fine. Today it's a beautiful day outside. It's a little cold in the shop, but I opened up all the doors just to let the cold out. That's what threw my husband today. He's like, what are you doing? Why do you have the shop wide open? And I'm like, well, because I'm letting the cold out, because it stores, it keeps the temperature in the shop fairly cold. And with our low last night being about 27 degrees, the shop is probably holding that 27 degrees. So let me get in here really quick so I can read your comments. Okay. Why won't you open my live? There we go. All right. So super simple. How to fluff a bow. Because most of the time we put our boxes, our wreaths back in the boxes, and they might need a little fluffing. And this is something I do even when I go to friends' houses that have pulled out their wreaths from previous years. They put them on their front door and they don't fluff their bow. And that is something that, like, even if I'm walking through Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby and there's a bow on display and it looks horrible, I know that that's a huge selling point. So I will take the opportunity to stop and fluff the bow. It is a very rare habit. So I'm using my fluff board just for the demo purposes, but most of the time your bow's already going to be fastened to the wreath. If you want, you can take it, and if you're hanging it on a door or putting it on a basket or putting it wherever, you can do the same process on your wreath or on wherever you're placing your bow. So for demo purposes, I'm just going to do this so that you can see it all the way together. Let me make sure I can see your comments. Yes, Kathy, I'm live just to do a bow fluffing video. Okay, so super simple. I am just going to take my hook. I'm going to secure my bow so that it doesn't slide all the way around. And what you're going to do is you have a top and a bottom. So what we're going to do is, like, if you've just made this and you need that re-instruction on how to fluff, I'm going to show you that way. And then I'm also going to show it to you once it's out. For example, if you purchase bows from me, I'll show you the way that they come, and it's just to reduce the cost of shipping for you so that, you know, we can keep products fairly inexpensive, and shipping is just horrible right now because of the holidays. So from the top, we're going to take our loop and move that to the left, and we're going to separate its tail to the right. We're going to go back to the bottom and find the exact same ribbon. We're going to move our tail this time to the left and our loop to the right. This way, if we're looking, the loops are directly opposite and the tails are directly opposite. Then we're going to go to the next ribbon down from the bottom. So we're going to take our loop here and we're going to move that to the right, and our tail, we're going to move that to the left. See what's happening? The patterns and colors are starting to go every other one versus like the loops and the tails are starting to do an every other one staggered look. Here we're going to move our loop to the left and our tail to the right. Now we've got tails opposite, loops opposite, and this is the way you get a really good look on your bow. Now from here, I don't want to go green on top of green, so I'm going to pull this green back over to the plaid. which is designer's choice, right? You can do whatever you want to fluff your bow, however you want that look to be. I'm going to move this one. It's underneath my hook, and move that over to the opposite side. And then I'm going to go to the next ribbon down, which is black and green plaid. And we're going to separate those opposite. So see how the tails are all staying together? We're going to go over here and do the same. We're going to move our tail over and then move our loop over. And see, I haven't started fluffing. Everything is completely flat. Now I'm going to take this solid. I'm going to move my solid back over here. So loop to the left, tail to the right. We're doing tail to the left and the loop to the right. And then the last ribbon here is just going to be loop to the right, tail to the left. I love this ribbon. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's black velvet and green. So this is what you're left with. This is how the bows will come shipped, because I can get quite a few in a box and save you on a ton of shipping by shipping them this way. So when they come like this from the box, I'm going to show you how to fluff them. Hang on just one second. Yes, Kathy, I will be live tonight. Hi, Charlotte. Nice to see you as well. So now this is how you're going to fluff. You're going to start at the top and you're going to pull the first two up. So this is our green plaid and our solid black. We just put our fingers in, lift them up. Same here, we're going to go to the opposite side. We are just going to put our fingers in and lift those up. You don't want to see ribbons with like creases on the ends. You want to see nice rounded loops, just like that, directly across. And then you're going to take the next two sets, and however you want those to display, you know, you might want the green in between the green and black. You might want the plaid out here. You might want the plaid, like the green off to the side and the plaid here. It's just going to be entirely up to you what you want. And I'm just kind of making that a little bit different on the opposite side. So I'm going to put my gingham in the middle on this side. Designer's choice, right? Just so that it looks visually nice. And then we're taking the bottom two, and this time you're going to put your fingers all the way in and give those a nice lift on those. Really put your fingers in and round out those loops. Makes all the difference in the world. So just like that, nice round loops. And then of course, to give your ribbons that curl, much like, you know, so it falls in a nice cascade, you're just going to put them through your fingers, run them through like they're a pair of scissors. It doesn't have to be super hard. That's how you're going to put the loops or the curls back in your ribbon. Just like so. I'm going to do it over here, right back here. It gets a little harder towards the bottom because they're sitting flat on the board, but you can still do it. Just like that, just like this. And if you want, you can mix. You know, you can take some of your tails, like maybe you want some of your tails in between. Maybe you want your tails like all together. Honestly, it's going to be up to the individual how they want their bow to present. For me, on a wreath making perspective, I like to have my loops all in one place, my tails all in one place, because generally if we're adding a sign, I don't want the tails to impact the wording or the pictures on the sign. But that is how we would fluff the actual bow. Now this is one for like, you know, putting on a wreath per se. I'm going to show you how you're going to fluff one if you're hanging it at the bottom of a wreath, because this look, it may work for you depending upon how big your wreath is, but generally if we're hanging them towards the bottom, we want all of our tails to cascade to the bottom. So let me show you really quick how we would fluff if we were doing a bottom bow, or if, like, say for example, you were hanging that on top of a pillar. I just happen to have another one here. Gonna do the same thing. It's going to be a little bit different. On this side of things, we are going to take first and we're going to pull all of our tails down to the bottom. So I'm going through the top, finding my tails, pulling them all the way to the bottom, starting with the bottom one. Going to do the same on this side. Find all my tails. Here's this one. Then we've got black. And we have the green. Okay. So now we have our bow with all of our tails at the bottom. You're starting to see how this is already taking shape. I'm going to tilt it to the side so I can work through my loops. And we're going to start the same way. We're going to lift from the top, just like this. And we're going to do opposites. Always opposites because it looks so nice. Okay. But if you want to do same, you know, however you want your look to be, maybe you want the green together and the black together, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to separate these and pull my plait up. Always making sure we have rounded loops, not squared loops. Let's see, I'm going to pull this one a little bit higher, just like that. And then same thing here. I'm going to pull my plait up. I'm going to open this one in its entirety. I'm going to pull this one just like that. Keep my tails down. We're going to do the opposite here. I'm going to, let's actually change reverse order here. Let's pull this, the solid up. And then I'm going to pull the plait up because I had this green right here. Sometimes I just like to see pattern over solids. See, like we have solid, pattern, solid, just like that. And then let's turn this around. So now you've got a beautiful bow. You can just move all your tails around in whatever direction you want. Move this here a little closer. Move this one up. And there you go. And then the same thing. Go ahead and add your curls to your tails the exact same way. Just go ahead and run them through your fingers. Grab these ones. Actually did those two at the same time. And then just kind of manipulate your tails in whatever direction you want, whatever colors you want to see, however you want that to appear. But that is fluffing a bow two ways, one with the tails all the way down and one with the tails off to the side, so that if you were doing it as an embellishment or whatever, like this one would look amazing if we did it like here. This is designed for this type of a look, just like that, so that your bow would be at the bottom. And then if we were to flip, let me go ahead and remove this one off my board. If we were to do this one, let's go ahead and set that one there. This one would be more along the lines for a look off to the side, kind of like this, where you would want all of your tails kind of coming down in one place. Maybe you want all of your tails up at the top, something along that line. Or you can do, you know, down at the bottom, just kind of turn it to the side. Having your loops all in one place gives you that control where you decide what falls across your sign, where, how do you want it to be, and it's entirely up to you. So do you guys have any questions at all on this video? I'm going to start making a lot of these really super quick video tutorials to kind of help you with little small things like, hey, how do you fluff a bow? How do you wire a wreath? How do you clean a grapevine? So look for those on my YouTube channel at Cats Creations Reese, or you can find them on my Facebook page with the same name, Cat's Creations Reese. And if you would love to have a set of bows done for you in whatever color, just contact me at info@catscreationsandmore.com. I'd be happy to make a set of bows for you. This one is actually already sold. This is heading out to a client first thing Monday who wanted black and green Christmas plaid. So let me know, and I'd be happy to add bows or create bows just for you based on, you know, your needs and your wants. All right, everyone, join me at 5 o'clock today, where I am going to show you how to make an amazing low-cost Christmas gift for your family and friends, especially now that we're moving into the Thanksgiving season next week. So these are going to be items that are super simple for you to make and take and gift to family members or friends. Also great for craft fairs for a lot lower cost item. So join me at 5 Pacific, which is 7 Central and 8 Pacific, and I'll show you a super easy tip that you are going to love. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining me.